This is KOOP HD1 HD3 Hornsby, radio for people, not for profit. Welcome to Volumes, the Austin Public Library radio show. Each week, we explore how your library is more than books. The library is knowledge, technology, and inspiration for our community. Hi, this is Volumes, and I'm Kanya Lyons, and we have a very special guest on today's show. Librarian Patti Cook is going to tell us all about the summer reading program at the Austin Public Library. Welcome, Patti.
Hi.
Can you tell me a little bit about your role here at the Austin Public Library? Like, what is it that you do? You get to do pretty fun stuff.
I do, sure. Yeah. So I am one of the librarians who helps plan programming across the system. And I also really focus a lot of my time on the summer reading program.
Excellent. So you're responsible for all these great fun activities that we have for families and kids and teens and tweens and all the in-betweens.
I am, but I should say that I have a lot of people helping me. There's a huge committee that is made up of people throughout the library system.
Can you tell me a little bit about this year's summer reading programs and highlight some of your favorites?
We have a really exciting summer coming up full of all sorts of different performers. One of our new partnerships this year is with the Austin Symphony, and they are bringing their Children's Day Art Park over to the Central Library. And this is something that they've done at Symphony Square for over 30 years. So we are just so excited to have them come to the library, do their programming with us, and offer something completely new to our customers.
So I heard there's going to be an instrument petting zoo?
There is. They'll have an instrument petting zoo. They are going to tell stories. Bernadette Nason will be here. They will perform. There'll be different ensembles that perform each week, and it's a series of 6 weeks. So it'll be awesome.
Fantastic. And that, like all the programs, that's going to be open to the public. Is that right?
Yes, all of our programs. Every single summer reading program is open to the public at every single branch.
You're actually hosting these activities at all of the libraries in Austin?
Yeah, every single branch will have a series of programs that starts in June and goes through July, and some will even go until August. And every week there will be crafts, there will be performers, there will be story times, there may even be some STEAM programming for tweens and some teen programs.
Cool. Can you talk to me a little bit about some of those activities?
Sure. Why don't I start with the teens? Because there's some really awesome things going on. They are going to do some podcasting programs. So teens will learn how to start a podcast, how to promote it, how to get it on the air. We're working with Mexicarte, and they're going to do some really cool screen printing programs that are called Brand Like a Boss. And there are 2 of those. So you'll have 2 chances to go to that. A writing workshop with Badger Dog Creative Writing, where you can learn how to sort of turn your personal and family histories into a story. And also a camp with We Rock Austin, where you can learn how to promote your band.
Oh, wow. That sounds like fun. So that's for the teens, and then you guys have stuff that's specifically for the just not quite a teen yet, the tween set.
We have a whole series of STEAM programs throughout the branches, and these are going to explore science, technology, engineering, arts, math, and all of the supplies are given to everyone who participates. And so we'll be doing things like creating carnival rides using Little Bits Gizmos, or doing paper circuits where you make your own artwork with copper tape and batteries and learn how to complete a circuit, stop motion animation or wire wearables. And then we have a series called Feltastic and Filmazing, where we'll watch a movie, and while we're watching, we'll just sew a really cute little stuffy that goes along with the movie. So we're watching Coco and the Emoji Movie, Ferdinand, Trolls, and you'll sew something adorable at each single film.
That sounds like so much fun. So you get to watch it, and then you get to walk away with something really cute made of felt.
Indeed. I love sewing. I love felting. And so it's a wonderful way to combine watching a fun movie and getting out of the heat and also creating something adorable.
It's nice to be able to do something with your hands, too, especially when you're a young person. So can you tell me a little bit about some of the other programs that are happening? I guess for the 5 to 8 set, you have a lot of really cool stuff.
That's our main programming group that we focus on in the summer. So we do story times for the 0 to 5 crowd, and those are developmentally appropriate for them. They're, we read books, we sing songs, we keep them busy, we keep them entertained, and it's a short 30 minutes. But for those kids that are in school and they have 3 months to fill up a very empty schedule, we have all sorts of programming. So I already talked a little bit about the Symphony's Art Park program, but we have all sorts of things. We have Crow's Nest Farm coming in, and they'll bring their raptors. We have Dinosaur George, and he's going to come and talk about fossils and paleontology. We have all sorts of programs that the librarians have created that are, we call them kit programs. We just, that doesn't make sense to anyone but us. But anyways, they're basically these really amazing literature-based craft programs. And what we do is we create a program along a theme. So this year we're doing Dogman, which is this amazing, hilarious Dave Pilkey comic book. And then also Princess in Black, which is Shannon Hale. And it's just super adorable and fun. This is princess who's also secretly a ninja, which is great. And so you come in and you do some activities, you do a variety of crafts, and you just have a really fun time. We provide all the materials, and every kid will find something amazing for them. But we like to do a lot of entertainment. So we have a lot of different music-based programming because we love to promote the arts in Austin, and we want kids to enjoy that too. So we have Lloyd Miller of the Deedle Deedle Dees, and he's just this amazing musician who sings songs inspired by true stories. So he focuses on like astronauts and explorers and historical figures and sings songs about them and makes them fun. So you're dancing along and enjoying yourself, but you're also kind of learning something too. We have the Telephone Company, which is, if you like Devo, you'll probably love the Telephone Company. It's new wave. It's really goofy and amazing. And just all sorts of different programming. Magic Theater will be here this year again. They're from San Antonio, and they are just this amazing theater troupe that come in and do these amazing plays, and this year they're doing Three Little Pigs. And we're also partnering with the Pollyanna Theater Company, which is a local theater company, and we're very excited about that. This is the first time that we've partnered with them. So they're doing a touring version of their summer show called If Wishes Were Fishes.
I hear that Literature Live has mounted a special puppet show this summer for the kiddos.
So many of you will be familiar with Literature Live. Those of you who are not, they are our in-house puppet troupe. We are one of the few libraries in the entire nation that has a puppet troupe. And every year they do about 4 different shows that are just amazing and always literature-based. This summer, they're doing King Midas and the Golden Touch, and it's based on a Greek myth. It tells the story of King Midas, who believes he will achieve true happiness when he's given the golden touch. But of course, you should be careful what you wish for, as we all know from that story. And they're going to do that throughout the system. They'll be at every single branch this summer, and it's going to be wonderful.
Yeah, I've already seen a little trailer on social media, and it looks pretty fantastic. They're so talented. They actually create all their puppets and everything from scratch, which is just really impressive.
They'll actually have a video online soon that details sort of a behind-the-scenes making of the puppets. So if that interests you, you could go online and search that out.
Sweet. So can you tell me a little bit about Summer Slide and why these kinds of programs like the Summer Reading Program are so important?
So there's been a lot of research by educators that show that children over the summer, if they don't read, they lose several reading levels. And that's really what they call the slide, where kids are sliding downwards. And when they get to school in September, they have to get back up to their grade level. And so summer reading programs are created to meet that need, where kids can come to the library, they can continue their reading, and when they start school in the fall, they're at the same level or even they've gained some levels. And so it's a really wonderful partnership between the public library and schools. And so one of the ways that we try and incentivize the reading is that we have logs. And so kids can come into the library with their families and grab a reading log. And for younger children, we just do it by minutes. So every 20 minutes that they read, they can sort of mark out a section. And when they've completed all the sections, they come in and they turn in their log and they earn a book that they can add to their personal library. And for teens, we do it a little bit differently because they don't necessarily want to do anything that's too kiddie. So we do reading challenges this year, and it's really fun. They can read a book that's in a different format than they usually read. So they could try out a comic book, they could listen to an audiobook, or they could read about a character that doesn't look like them. They could read about a topic that they don't know anything about. And when they feel that they've completed the challenge, they bring it in and they can earn a book as well.
That sounds awesome. So what kinds of options do you have for people like me who work a full-time job but still want to take our kids to do fun things?
So we've got some new story times coming up in the summer. There'll be a pajama story time at the Central Library on Monday evenings, and then there are several that are throughout the system. You can check our story time calendar that is available in every branch, or you can also check our online calendar because they're all listed on there. For summer reading programs that we've been talking about, these fun special programs, we actually have 3 options this year for working parents. The Central Library will offer their programming on Sundays, Manchac will offer their programming on Saturdays, and the Carver Library is going to offer their programming at 6 p.m. on Mondays. And so you can check the online calendar for the specific details for each location.
So Patti, what time do you recommend people arrive for these summer reading programs?
They're generally pretty popular. So I would recommend that you come to the branch at least 30 minutes before it starts. Our branches do use tickets because we want to make sure that we don't exceed room capacity. And so it's always great to come early. Your time is not wasted because you can come and hang out and look at books, use the time to check some out, and then go and enjoy the program.
Hello, this is Stephen. You are listening to Volumes, the Austin Public Library Show. Before we continue with the second part of this interesting conversation between Kanya Lyons and Librarian Patti Cook, who are talking about the 2018 summer reading program, we would like to share with you some of the poem readings recorded at the Oral Literature Program, a monthly series at the Terrazas branch featuring the Chicon Street poets. We will hear poet Amy Makarick reading some of her works. Enjoy.
Oh, so this one's fun. So this came out of a quiz I gave my students, and I got it back, and there's a great typo in one of the answers. The answer was, he became infatuated with her. And I was like, wow, that's a great word, infatuated. So I had to work with that. And like, what did that new word mean? What could it mean? So infatuated. Yes, my oracle of love will be infatuation or will not be love. I want to know your shoe size as well as the weight it takes to walk in them sometimes and the joy that lifts them up. I even want to know the sound of your soles walking away when you need to be alone. Here's where I ask you to love me in my eyeglasses and $10 Goodwill dress as much as you would in my heels and little back dress. Because, darling, the sparkle and skin is the same. And I want to know about your worst New Year's Eve. And unless it also involves a breakup, mine was worse. And yes, I want to know that you can still light me up, my pulse, with a wink. I mean, we are alive. And I want to know your brain blips, your scars, from flesh to dreams and talk and sighs, while the dawn records our laughs and secrets. And I just want to be so maddeningly infatuated that the sun and moon and plants envy us, saying, look at how they orbit each other. I bet they stay like that forever. So I'm working on this project where I take true titles of true stories. The titles can be kind of fun or whatever, and then work with those. And I'm sometimes working in form too. I like to play with that. So this one, so this title is That Time Ken and Barbie Called It Quits. So if you're in your 40s like me, you grew up with Ken and Barbie, and a while back that Mattel announced that they were breaking up, right? And that was a big thing. Yeah. So this is That Time Ken and Barbie Called It Quits. When you broke up briefly after 43 years, the world gasped. Nothing was sacred. There lives a shard of pain in every pleasure. For decades we had looked up to you, the maid for each other's. But what outsider really knows what brews beneath the skin? Is nothing sacred? Must there be a shard of pain in every pleasure? Is space between two in love then an eventual magnet? No outsider really knows what brews beneath the skin. So what was it that brought you back together? Is space between two in love then an eventual magnet? The paradoxical ingredient in love's ephemeral tonic? So what was it that brought you back together? No, don't tell me. Don't say the words aloud to curdle and spoil. Words. Those paradoxical ingredients in love's ephemeral tonic. We needed to live in a world where you two were merged. Don't tell me we didn't. We refused to let you curdle and spoil. Demanded your repair for us, your gleam of light to feast upon. This one was really exciting to put together because I had a poetry professor way back in the day, and he said, that's your subject. He said, you just like writing about being in love. And I was like, yeah, I do. But love can take on many forms, right? It can be platonic, it can be passionate, it can be the love of a parent or a sibling. So that's kind of what this book is about. Also, love can take on love of a place, right? Cities. So this one, first one I'll read, is about Paris, which if you ask anyone who knows me really well where on earth I would be at this moment, it'd be Paris. Any moment, I would go there in a heartbeat. So this one's called Dépaysement, French for the feeling that comes from not being in one's home country. Paris at 25, a lit powder keg. I devoured as much Paris in glorious debauch as my bones could hold. Cobblestone streets were not streets, but wormholes to myself. Sunrise was not the start of another day, but another life, when I rubbed each minute rank with my gluttonous zest for beauty, for ruin, for the love of aggrandizing my rotten cracks with the city's torturous balm. The plane that took me back to Austin was a lie. It took my soul nowhere. Home is not a word that I know how to place on a map. Home, the undertow of Paris that drowned me with its dastardly glee.
Hey there, Austin. This is Kelsey here to tell you all about this week's events at the Austin Public Libraries. Now that summer's here, it's time to unwind with some video game free play at Game On. One title from the library's collection will be ready and waiting for teens to try. Co-op and compete with other teens on the PS4 Pro, Xbox One, or Nintendo Switch. Journey through amazing RPG adventures or try hilarious party games. From noobs to experts, all experience levels are welcome. Game On is happening every Friday at 2 p.m. from June 8th to July 27th at the Central Library. This program is open to teens ages 13 to 18. More details on Game On and additional programs can be found at library.austintexas.gov/events.
This is Alana Graves, the youth librarian at the Carver branch. The summer has officially begun, and the Austin Public Library is offering summer reading events for kids. This June and July, the Austin Public Library presents Dog Man. He's part dog, part man, all hero. Children ages 5 to 10 can battle Petey the cat in fun activities such as designing their own spray in a secret lab, complete an obstacle course, and create their very own puppets and comic books. This program is scheduled at 5 library branches and kicks off at the North Village branch on Wednesday, June 6th at 3:30 p.m. This children's program is influenced by the popular children's graphic novel series Dog Man by Dave Pilkey. While you're here, we recommend reading Dog Man, available for checkout at many libraries across Austin. Details at library.austintexas.gov.
You're listening to Volumes, the Austin Public Library radio show on Co-op 91.7 FM and KOOP.org. Radio for people, not for profit.
Support comes from East Side Pies, local pizza with local ingredients. 3 locations around Austin: East Side off Rosewood, Airport and 53rd, and Anderson Lane. Take out or eat in. Online ordering now available at eastsidepies.com.
This is Joe,
Martha,
and Lisa,
co-hosts of Writing on the Air.
do you like to read?
Do you like to write?
We do too. and we love bringing you the best authors and other creative types from Texas and beyond.
Listen to Writing on the Air every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Central Time.
Voted Best Book Discussion in the Austin Chronicle's 2015 Best of Austin.
Wednesday at 6 o'clock p.m.
on 91.7 FM
or koop.org.
And welcome back to part 2 of Volumes, the Austin Public Library radio show. Today's guest is Librarian Patti Cook, who is a superhero of sorts. She puts together the summer reading program for kids and teens every year here at the Austin Public Library. So we wanted to talk a little bit about some of the books that kids might be interested in reading depending on their age level. So could you tell me, books that you think would be really great for, parents and children under the age of 5 to be reading?
Sure, yeah. It's almost hard to go wrong with picture books. We have such a diverse collection of picture books in every single location. There's tons of them on every subject, and they can be humorous and touching, and oh my gosh, there's just everything. But a new story that I'm pretty jazzed about is by Mac Barnett and illustrated by John Klassen, and it's called Square. And it's just a delightfully minimalist art book with a sweet story, and it's basically about this square who's trying to do a portrait of his friend Circle, and he just can't get it right. And it's funny and it's sweet. And it's actually a companion book to Triangle, which features Triangle and Square. And it's about this sneaky trick that Triangle plays on Square, and then Square gets his revenge. So they're just really, really sweet. And I love John Klassen's illustrations, and his books are totally worth checking out. All of them. He's got a lot that he writes and illustrates on his own. And they're really great for parents too, because they have a little bit of dark humor, and so they're just really great for everybody.
Sounds like you learn a little geometry in the process.
Right. Well, very, very basic. Circle, square, triangle. Maybe there'll be a rhombus in the next one. I don't know.
I'll definitely have a look out for that book. Sounds great. What about kids that are just a little bit older, like the 5 to 8? Some of them are reading early readers, and you were saying some are reading different types of books. Can you tell me a little bit about some good books that are in that age range?
Sure. So for that age range, really, picture books are still great. So kids still really love being read to, and the pictures in picture books keep them visually entertained as well. There's a section that you mentioned called our easy reading section, and that's really for emergent readers. So that also spans sort of from your very beginning reader to maybe a kid who's in first grade. There's a lot of different levels in that section, but a series that is a perennial favorite is Elephant and Piggy, and they're hilarious. They're by Mo Willems. They feature an elephant and a piggy, and they go on various adventures every title, and they're just super silly, and all ages like them. Even if you have a younger kid, they'll enjoy having it read to them. For kids that are a little bit older or have a longer attention span, I would really recommend 2 different series, basically. And they're 2 of the series that we happen to base some of our programming on this summer. The first is Princess in Black series by Shannon Hale. And it's about this princess named Magnolia who's prim and dainty and afraid of ridiculous things like snails. And so no one suspects she's secretly a monster-fighting ninja. And it's just silly and sweet and wonderfully illustrated, and everybody enjoys it. Girls, boys. There's a character called Goat Boy, and he basically is inspired by the Princess in Black to become a goat fighting superhero. It's really great. And then the other series that we're basing programming on this summer is Dog Man by Dave Pilkey. And it's basically just this absurdist tale where there was a policeman and his dog, and they are off on assignment, and there's a bomb, and they fail to defuse it in time. And so basically the dog's body dies and the policeman's head dies, and so they decide to make a super policeman by sewing the dog head on the policeman's body, and thus Dogman is born. And it's just so ridiculous and funny, and I've never met a child who did not absolutely adore it. Dave Pilkey wrote the Captain Underpants series, so it's a little bit silly and full of potty humor, and if you want to keep your kids wanting to read, this is a great series for them.
So what about these kids that are in between the ages of like 8 and 12? I know that's kind of they call it the tweens.
Yeah, so that's an age group that just is so diverse in their reading levels, and so some of them might still really be interested in reading Dogman or even The Princess in Black, and some of them closer to 12 might be more into teen books. And so there are 2 different reading lists that we support at Austin Public Library. They are both created by the Texas Library Association. Basically, there's committees of librarians throughout Texas, and they serve on these committees, and every year they create a new book list that is full of just a wide variety of high-interest recreational books. And so the first one is the Bluebonnet list, and that is for younger children ages 3 to 6. And then the second one is the Lone Star list, and that's for grades 6 through 8. They're usually pulled out in every branch. They could be on a cart, or they might be on a special award section, and you're definitely going to find something for your child on that list. And it's a great way to explore different kinds of books.
Thank you so much. Moving up into the teen range. So I know 13 to 18 is a pretty wide swath, but there's some really great teen literature out there these days. And so what are some of the creme de la creme?
So this is really sort of my jam. I really like YA books. I run 2 different YA for adults book groups at the library. One's at Central and one's at Manchac. And so I read a lot of teen fiction. So the first one I wanted to recommend is called 3 Dark Crowns by Kendare Blake. And it's a fantasy set in a world where every generation there's a queen, and this queen has triplets. And the girls all have separate powers, so they can be poisoners or control the elements or be a naturalist who communes with nature. And so when the girls come of age, there's a ceremony where they see each other for the first time in years because they've been raised separately. And then they basically have to fight to the death. And it's just the whole series is basically a bunch of court intrigue and lots of magic-y things happening. And it's just basically bananas because it's so over the top, and it's just gloriously fun to read. It's wonderful. And another one that I've read lately that is really, really good is a lot more serious. It's called The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. And it's about a girl who's driving home with her friend one night, and they're pulled over by the police, and they shoot him, and he dies. And she has to figure out what she's going to do. It's just so incredibly well written and heartbreaking, and if you haven't read it already, you really should. It deals with race in America, injustice in the judicial system, and other really important issues that African American people deal with every day. And then one more that I would like to recommend is Simon versus the Homo sapiens Agenda, and you might have seen it at the movie theater as Love, Simon, and it is just so sweet and beautiful. It's a sort of like a rom-com, and if you're looking for something light and adorable to read, I would recommend that one.
Wow, those sound like some really interesting and diverse books to choose from. But, I guess the most important thing, right, is that kids read. It doesn't really matter what they read. And all of these books are available at the library, right, through our online catalog and, in the libraries themselves. Is there anything else that you would like to add?
I would just say if they just want to read comic books, that's okay. Comic books are great, and there is such a wide variety now. If they just want to read pulpy fiction, let them do it, because the point of reading in the summer is that they don't have to read for class. They can read for enjoyment, and if you're reading for enjoyment, you're much more likely to keep reading.
Yay, I agree. Thank you so much, Patti. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thanks for listening to Volumes, the Austin Public Library radio show. Special thanks to our producer, DJ Harris, and to the musicians who composed and performed our original theme song, Andrew Noble on violin, Kirk Duvall on guitar, and Mike Wheat on percussion. And thanks to you, our listeners. Volumes, the Austin Public Library radio show, airs Wednesday afternoons at 2:30 on Co-op 91.7 FM and koop.org. If you catch us mid-show, full episodes and other details can be found at library.austintexas.gov/volumes.